Hey guys, Blue Bridge here, and today I'm going to be just looking at dissecting Enzo Maresca's press conference ahead of our game against Legia Warsaw, and he had some interesting comments to make, so especially about the fans and about the fact that he thinks that we've improved this season. So let's get into it. So, Enzo Maresca had his press conference today ahead of our game against Legia Warsaw, and he had some interesting comments to make in the press conference, and some silly questions as well. Some reporter asked him about what sort of music he listens to and all that sort of stuff. And I can't take the British press seriously without silly questions like that. Rather than asking about tactics, formations, and everything else, it's all about sort of fans and music and everything. Yeah, the fans was an important thing to ask, but music, come on now. He was talking about the fans. Obviously, there's a lot of backlash after what happened against Ipswich, the poor result. The fans were booing, and he had some things to say about the fans that I addressed in my last video. Apologies, actually, in that last video, because when I edited it, you may hear two sounds. You may hear me talking. You may hear Maresca talking at the same time. I did have it with the sound muted, but something, when you're editing videos, something went wrong in the editing side, so I had to add the video once again. I forgot to take the mute off. So the life of a YouTuber is not just about sitting in front of the camera talking, it's also about the editing side, and sometimes errors are made. So apologies for that, for those who actually watched that video. So anyway, going on to what he said, because obviously he blamed the fans or indirectly blamed the fans for the second goal that Ipswich scored. And he did say that it is a mutual. Same thing what I mentioned, actually. I said, in order to get the fans on side, first of all, we've got to be playing winning football, because the fans were on side at the beginning of the season when we were playing winning, good, fast, attractive football, winning football. But once it started to go wrong, the football was slow, turgid and boring, and obviously naturally the fans are going to be a bit disgruntled, especially when they see somebody like Sanchez messing about with the ball and making mistakes, which he did address. He says, obviously, if you see Sanchez passing the ball out and passing it straight to an opponent, then you are going to get a bit frustrated. And he said if he was a fan, he'll be getting frustrated at that too. But still, Sanchez still plays. And again, is that the fault of him or the fault of the sporting directors who brought in this goalkeeper? Because he did swap out Sanchez earlier on in the season, but it didn't quite work. So Sanchez came back into goal. Again, I'm not kind of, if sometimes we have to kick long, sometimes you have to look at how the game is playing. And even the kick by Sanchez was poor because he kicked it right down the middle. Why, he could have picked, when you kick it out as a goalkeeper, you don't try and find the best defender. What the Ipswich defender he picked up was their best header of the ball. And but rather than kicking it to the flanks where you can reset afterwards. So again, but that's by the by. But he did acknowledge that the players have to play their part as well, and playing at a high tempo, and that's the way you kind of get the fans on board. But he's the one who instructed them to play backwards and be a patient build-up, and this patient build-up stuff, it doesn't work, because he said, when he did say again when we played against Tottenham, the reason why we were having joy and the tempo was a bit quicker is because Tottenham press high, and he was kind of blaming the other teams, or the opponents actually, for the fact that we are not playing well, because he says it's the opponent's fault because they sit back, and it's because they're sitting back and playing a low block, 2 banks of 4, that's preventing us from being able to play an exciting brand of football. Okay, to a point, he's right, because if a team just comes to defend and doesn't really want to come out, it makes it more difficult. But it's up to us to find solutions, and finding solutions for me is not just being patient, and because these they know the way we play at the moment, and when even though we're passing the ball out, they're still going to be rigid in the way they play with their two banks, and they're not going to come out and try to engage with us. So it's up to us to find different solutions by, for instance, having overloads, and that's the problem, because if you look at the way that PSG are playing. Okay, Villa came at them yesterday, and another team do come at them. But what they do, they can create options by creating overloads, because they have both two. They've got two excellent fullbacks, Hakimi and Portuguese guy comes, and. But what they do, they create those overloads, and they are overlapping fullbacks rather than inverted, and we're putting Gusto in that inverted role, and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't create attacking wise. He's just non-existent. His shooting is terrible. His final ball is not great. So it doesn't give us any options. So sometimes to find a different way is to create these overloads, to move the ball a bit quicker, to get these defence out of shape so that you can, and to have willing runners into the box. The amount of willing runners I saw yesterday when I was watching the PSG, it was Mendes, I think that's the defender. With the amount of willing runners that I see from the from PSG, we don't have those willing runners. The only time I think we showed a bit of people running in behind, that's when we created our better chances against Ipswich. But by just passing it backwards, sideways, trying to probe something, in the end, all we end up doing is crossing the ball pointlessly in the air, and we've got nobody with an aerial threat in our team to take advantage of it. So that's the frustration with us fans, is that we don't see anything different from him, because he said his style is his style, and that's the way that he plays. Just try something new sometimes when we're playing against these low blocks, because I said earlier this season we've been found out. So because we've been found out, it's up to him as a manager to come up with different ways of playing. So teams know. Crystal Palace's Glasner said it before. We all know how Chelsea play, and he just told us. He gave us a breakdown of how Chelsea play, and that's once you start to find out how a team plays, then it's really easy to get a result against them. But the last point I want to make is the point he made about improvement, and I want you to stick in a comment box. Do you think we've improved? And the way he gauged improvement was the fact that we've been in the top four for most of the season. Okay, we had a great start, and I was on the back end of a great finish of last season, and that's what I keep saying. When you got a new manager coming in with new ideas, then at the time teams have to adjust. Coaches then look at how you're playing, and they create plans to try and nullify you, or to beat you at your own tactics. So what's happening here is that we had a great start. Teams started to find us out, and we haven't found that solution. So. And that's the issue that we're facing now, and it was that momentum just before Christmas that has kept us in the top four until obviously last week, when we're now out of the top four. And I always say to people, I don't care how we start, it's how we finish that's important. Because last year we didn't have a great start, but we still finished sixth, and had it not been for Manchester United beating Man City, we'd have been in the Europa League. But this season, we've been in it. It means nothing if we're in the top four all season, if you're going to be dropping out at the business end, right at the end. And I think 63 was points that we got last season, sixth position. If we fall lower than that and in a lower league position, because arguably we can finish seventh now, because when you think Aston Villa are breathing down our necks as well. So I think the top five could be what it is at the moment. Villa could finish sixth, we could finish seventh, so we could actually finish with a lower points tally and a lower league position than last season. Is that progress? And I don't think it is. And so, what do you think though? See your comments in the section below. So those words are sort of points that I drew from the press conference. Is there anything else that you want to discuss? Just, as I said, let me know in the comment section. So again, obviously, we're 3-0 up against them. Lavia's back. I don't know how long for. Obviously, he's not included in the Europa League, in the Conference League squad. So let's see if he's available for a must-win game against Fulham at the weekend. So, guys, I'll have a great Good Friday, and I will see you on the next one. So take care, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, let me be notified every time I make a new video. So take care, bye-bye.